guys, Sandy here, and today I am up for Crafty Maven and I'm going to be sketching it. Today I'm going to use this August 2019 page map sketch. I'm using this one down here with a 4x4 photo, and I'm actually going to be scrapbooking this one photo of this large rock. So the backstory is I love rocks and I usually grab one from wherever we have visited. And this was the rock I told my husband I wanted, and he promptly laughed at me and told me to take a picture. So here is the photo, here is the sketch, and I'm going to be using my September Kit, which I will put the link down below so you can see that as well. Let's see what I can do. The first thing I did was cut down some white cardstock and then placed it in the corner of a 12x12 sheet of pattern paper. And that pattern paper comes from Indigo and Ivy. And Indigo and Ivy is one beautiful, beautiful collection, let me just tell you. I also had this scrap of paper that I'd thrown in my Kit, and I don't remember where it's from other than it is crate paper. Oh, and I still have the branding strip in the trash, so it is from the All Heart collection. You guys probably know that. I tend to not know a lot of what the crate paper collections are, other than I can just identify that that's crate paper because, you know, it has that look. Now, this is some khaki colored tape, and I could not even tell you where it came from. When I got it, I really don't remember anything about it other than I thought that it would go great with the color scheme I had going on here. So originally I had put this down, and then I didn't realize like how good of a sticky this tape had. I mean, look at that. Look at that sticky. It was ripping up every single little piece of the paper. So I decided to leave it where it was, and then I decided to take this cork border, and this is a roll of cork trim that I've had for a while. I'm coming to the end of it, so that's super exciting for me. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it all the way across here. So I have the tape below the photo and I have the cork above the photo. And there's still a little bit of the torn white paper over there by the tape, and I'm okay with it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I don't think it like completely distracts or anything like that, so I'm just going with it. So these are some Vicky Bouton stickers, and they're from two different collections. I do know that the colored ones are from Color Kaleidoscope. The other ones, couldn't tell you. It was a previous collection. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer them up, and I'm going to build up my little bit of place where I'm going to journal over here. And at this point, I am definitely I would say veering from the sketch a little bit. I actually have to pull out the sketch so I can see what I'm doing and while I'm talking to you guys. So I've already changed the sketch up where I don't have everything centered on the paper. I've kind of like pulled it down to the right hand corner. And then my photo I didn't stick as a 4x4. So really the sketch is like giving me the inspiration for this page. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I really want my sketch to look like the sketch, and sometimes I'm just like, hey, give me a little bit of oomph here so I can get going and get this layout created. Now I thought I would use this glitter tape to kind of just cover up like that awkward gap that I was building right there. And the glitter tape actually ends up getting completely covered up. You don't see it at all, but that's okay. And I don't bother taking it off either because I'm not going to save and reuse that little teeny piece of glitter tape. So here is the Indigo and Ivy sticker sheet, and I'm trying to figure out what I can build up over here to try to get rid of that awkward gap where the glitter tape is showing. And it is a little bit of an awkward gap. It probably wouldn't have felt that way so much if I would have put the glitter tape over top of that pink watercolory label right there, but while I was doing it, I didn't think about that. The only thing I was thinking was, I've got this gap, I've got to cover it up, I've got to figure this out. So that's what I worked on. Now this is a Ziploc baggie full of the ephemera from Indigo and Ivy, and I know I'm probably saying Indigo and Ivy a whole lot, you guys. So I'm just, again, trying to cover up that gap. And as you can see, I'm covering up the glitter tape and not really worrying about it. So back to the sketch. So I am a huge fan of Paige Mapp's sketches. I think Becky Fleck is amazing and that she keeps coming up with these fantastic sketches month after month, year after year. It's a whole lot of fun. And like I said, I do love using them as exactly what the sketch looks like, and I also love using them as jumping off points. And I think that that's the great thing about sketches. So you can take a sketch, you can do it exactly like it is, you can turn it on its side, you can shrink it down, you can stretch it into a different format. You can really use anything. Say you're like, oh wow, I really like how those photos are clustered, but the rest of the sketch isn't working for me. Use that one part of the sketch. So do what works for you, whatever gets your creativity flowing, and make it happen. Sketches are a great thing for when you are just kind of like, oh, I want to create, but I don't know what I want to create. Sketches are great when you're like, I feel like I'm making the same layout over and over again. And I mean, sometimes you might literally be making the same layout over and over again, where you're using the same page composition, you're using the same kind of embellishment, you're using the same size photo. And I felt like that this past August, just like last month, I got a huge amount of pages done, you guys. I did 111 layouts in August, and while I was scrapbooking, I was like, I'm just making the same page over and over again, like, you know, you have that feeling. But then when I looked at them and, you know, was setting them up and organizing them to put them in albums where they belong, because layouts belong in albums, people. Not stacks on the floor or in iris cases. I'm looking at you, my crafty friends that were at the retreat. You can't even see me, but I'm giving you the look. Anyway, so I totally forgot what I was saying. This is what happens. I start running my mouth and I don't remember. Anyway, oh, I remember. I felt like all my layouts were the same, and when I looked through them, they're not all the same. Even if they have similar compositions, even if they're similar subjects, I created a lot of airplane albums, you guys, or airplane layouts. They're different. They really are different. So sometimes it just takes like getting back, stepping back for a second, and then looking at it. So here we go. Back to the layout. As you can see, I've been pulling out things from my kit. These hexagon pink fresh wood veneer stickers, love them. I love the little pop of pink that it brings in. I do have that pink label right there, and basically that was it. So I felt like I needed to get a little bit more pink in. And these little label stickers that came from Michael's a long time ago in a huge old pack. This is one of my favorite things to do with them, is to create little like bannery hang down things. I don't know what else to call them. Little banner tails, something like that, and figure out where to tuck them under. And here I'm trying to figure out if I want to tuck more things under, if I want to like create, you know, what am I doing up here? And I know that on the sketch there was this kind of embellishment cluster. And it does overlap the photo, but I really didn't want mine overlapping the photo because I added extra embellishment down where the journaling goes. And if you hear the tinkling sound, I'm sorry, it's my bracelets and I forgot to take them off before I did the voiceover, and you know, I like to move my hands when I talk. So I'm just trying to figure out this cluster up at the top, and I'm thinking, does it need to be a frame? What exactly does it need to be? And I figure out that it doesn't need to be this particular frame. It doesn't have the same kind of feel as the rest of the layout. So I decide to grab this wood grain label, and the word beautiful fits on there perfectly. My little keyhole thing fits on there, and I just adjust the pink a little bit, trying to figure out exactly where I want it to be and where I want it to layer. So I figure that out. I add a little bit of adhesive and just go ahead and get that stuck on there. Now you see I have beautiful and I have high. So my title, I'm thinking along the lines of Hi You Beautiful Rock or something like that. I think I don't put in the word you. I think I just end up with the word rock. But that's okay. So there is my little banner bottom, a little hangy down thingy. I really don't have a great technical term for that other than it's a banner that is hanging down. So here we go. I got the beautiful down. I got that nestling underneath the little keyhole thing. The keyhole really has no meaning on this layout other than I think that the color of it goes good with the layout and I like the way it looks. So that is probably a random embellishment. Now, of course, I'm not going to go so random as to put a llama or a hedgehog or an avocado on this embellishment about a rock, or this layout about a rock, but you can definitely bring a little bit of randomness in if you like that kind of thing. A little touch of whimsy, a little touch of extra fun that might not have been expected. So if you are Scrappy Kathy, she is the queen of the random embellishment and making them work. And if you ever get the chance, check her out. I went to a retreat with her this past spring, and the random stuff she could pull together and make into sense on a layout was amazing, like completely and utterly amazing. Okay, so now I've got my embellishment up there. I'm still thinking I need a little something else. I figure, oh, this frame might work because it's the same pattern of what I used on the photo. And I'm like, yep, oh yes, I like this a lot. And it's just a matter of figuring out where exactly I want it to lay on the layout. Like what joins I want covered up, what joins I want showing, and where I just want it to go. Now, I decided that since the sketch had that big embellishment and title cluster overlapping the photo, I decided, again, I didn't want mine overlapping, but see the little indent on that label there? I made it nestle with the corner of the photo. And then at first I thought I was going to be using these letter stickers for the word rock, and they're very neutral, the neutral ones that I pulled out of there. And I'm looking at it, and come on, I know I'm going to change it. And I was like, oh, this pink is great. This is where I could add a touch more pink inside this layout. So I should have flipped my thickers over, and then I just go ahead and lay the pink down. And it is such a subtle difference, you guys. Not a huge like shocking difference from what I had on there first to now, but I think it just gives it just that little teeny extra bit of oomph that I liked it just that little bit more. So I've got this great cluster over here. I've got my cluster on my photo here. I'm thinking I love it. I know what I'm gonna write. It's basically gonna be what I shared with you guys at the introduction of the video. And then I'm looking over here and I'm like, this poor little chipboard piece over here really needs something else. Like it can't be just this hunk of wood veneer and just sitting there, because it doesn't really look that great. It kind of looks like I dropped it there and left it. So now I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do over on this side to give it a little bit of extra something so that it isn't just like something that's just hanging out there. And there are certain times where I want something on a layout hanging out there, but I really wasn't feeling it. And the reason why I put that over there was twofold. One, because I want it to represent that date kind of clip on the sketch. And two, I felt like this corner over here was super plain and I just needed a little bit of something extra. So I have this banner and I went ahead and fussy cut it out of the paper pad there. And I also went ahead and covered up the saying on it. So if banners, die cuts, florals, anything has a saying on it that it really doesn't work for your project, but the color works, the shape works, everything else works, just cover it up. Just cover it up. Make it work for you. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little word sticker here and pop that bad boy down. And I really like how this is looking. Like, I'm feeling like it's good. I feel like I need a little bit more embellishment though, because more is more. And I have these little cork flower stickers, and they are from Close to My Heart. And I'm just sprinkling them around the page. And I'm kind of tucking them in where I think it looks, you know, pretty good. So I'm moving around sizes, trying to figure out what looks the best. And I have them nestled in little corners or just where I feel like it just needed a little something to help it out there. And then of course I'm going to bring some up here as well, because I need this tiny little cluster to be just as embellished and exciting as the other bits. Now the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in some sequins. At first I was thinking of enamel dots, but I decided to go the sequins. So these are from Seagull Scraps, and they were created exclusively for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. Jody created these to go ahead and coordinate with Indigo and Ivy. So if you are into sequins and you got an Indigo Ivy kit from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, or you're requesting one, check and see if Christina has more of these packs, and she might be able to add them in for your next kit. Now, I am going to go ahead and use a mix of sequins. So we do have the dark blue sequins. We have kind of like the greeny, like almost greeny pink iridescent, like swirly sequins, and then the light blue floral sequins that I'm just going to go ahead and place around the page. So I am using my jewel picker, and before I used a jewel picker, well, I won't say before I had a jewel picker, I used a crystal katana stick, and I still use the crystal katana stick, and I still use the jewel picker, and I even still use my really old Quick Cuts quick stick, which says the Quicker Poker Picker Upper, and it's not Quick Cuts anymore. It's not labeled as that. I don't remember what it's labeled as now, but I still use that as well. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use some of this tonic liquid glue to hold down my sequins. So to do sequins, I like to use two different kinds of adhesive. I like using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I also like using Zots. I decided to go with the Deluxe adhesive this time, just because I was doing the floral sequins, and I felt like it would probably adhere a little bit better. But I think either one would work. So now I'm just going to go ahead and write some journaling down, and literally it is the fact that I wanted this rock and Chris said no, and he told me nope, and to go ahead and take a picture of it. I am using a Muji pen. Now I just found out something exciting. There is a Muji store pretty close to me, and I had no idea. So I am going to be checking that out shortly and hopefully getting all the colors of pens, because Muji pens write so beautifully. Okay, so there it is, and I decide that there needs to be a little bit of something else on this page. I felt like the gap between the white and the pattern paper on the back needed a little bit of extra something, so I decided to outline it, and I am using my Muji pen to do that. Now this pen is a little bit thicker than the black pen I use. The black pen is a 0.38 and this is a 0.5, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. I love how the blue pops. There it is, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon.